I consciously practice all the time, and it's very important for me to do that, and then I connect the dots and then come to a conclusion. All right, finally, we do the podcast. Do you know what this is about?
A little bit, not much though.
So what do you think this is about?
Since this is focused on campus leads, you would like to share about like the things that all your campus leads are doing and things that they do and what makes them unique and what you see in them to be a campus lead.
No, this is not about campus leads at all. This is
Okay.
about literally everything in general.
Okay.
And this is about life. This is
Mhm.
about everything in and around life. This is about everything that you think has made your life good, bad, different, right? This
Okay.
is absolutely generic. This has got nothing to do with anything in specific. It's got nothing to do with Adventure Park in particular. But yeah, maybe Adventure Park will be part of our conversation because that's how we met, right? So we'll get started. And the idea behind doing this is so we are a community of thousands of people at Adventure Park and Code for India. And I meet a lot of people. I meet a lot of students, right? Majorly, these are all students from different colleges, from different backgrounds, from different, experiences. And I learn a lot from all these people, right? So these people implicitly teach me a lot of things, which these guys don't know, right? So I just wanted to structure these learnings, right? And maybe find a way to take these learnings to a larger audience, right? This is what these podcasts
So
are
about the learnings.
It's about my learnings, and if I wanted to see if I can take these learnings to the larger audience. So my learnings from my community at Adventure Park, Good for India, and beyond. Yeah, so let's get started.
Sure.
How did you find about Miraj?
So this story goes back a long time back, actually. As a matter of fact, around 2019, I just finished my intermediate and I wanted to. I went to a gym basically. I should have been studying for my MJCET, but I went to the gym and I was working out, and there I met this guy called Paul or Eric. Sorry, my bad. His name was Eric, and he was.
When was
from
this?
2019, around the first quarter, so first second quarter. I think the first quarter.
Okay.
So I met this guy called Eric, and he really used to motivate me to work out and push through my limits and all those things. And I was wondering what's this foreigner doing over here? A random gym, as a matter of fact. And I asked him what are you doing over here, and he mentioned the hacking school. And I don't think I ever mentioned this to you. So he mentioned the hacking school, and I was like, what's this? And I was really into cybersecurity, ethical hacking, like just a curious kid trying to playing around with computers and all those things. And I looked it up and I asked my friend, and he actually knew about you, and he did mention you that Meraj Faheem, and he runs hacking school. After that, it mostly died down. I didn't really get time, or I had exams, and then college started, and all that stuff happened. And with time, I believe Adnan had this Light Up initiative called a Light Up. So he would invite guests from all over, maybe from the startup ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, and have them speak. And you were one of the speakers, as a matter of fact. And I did attend that session, and I really liked whatever you're talking about. I think this was before COVID. I'm not sure exactly. I think this was during COVID. Just went around COVID, so I can't exactly recall the timeline. So that's when I actually initially met you, like talked to you, and I asked a few questions, and we interacted a little bit. And after that, again,
We did.
not technically interact. I asked a question, and Adnan asked them to you. So
Okay.
it's like this. And that happened, and I still remember what my question was. It's like basically, you were talking about entrepreneurship and all those things, and my question was, how do we shift from a job mindset, right? Like a corporate lifestyle mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset in students, and that was your answer. Like to start I think Adventure Park was there. At that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah. We had just started.
Yeah. So then COVID happened, and I couldn't really, so I had people at my home who were at risk of COVID. So I couldn't really, leave most of the time. And I used to see Adnan, obviously, he's an friend from intermediate, and he used to, be part of Adventure Park and doing all those things. And I really thought about it a lot of times. And I thought about coming over here, but I never really got the chance. I did, in fact, come here once in April or no, March 2021, right? My first FF, as a matter of fact. I met a few founders, Plastocons. I spent a lot of time with Zef from Plastocons, really interacted with him. And I met Spike, I met Osaid, I met Siddiqa, and a few more founders. And, I really like the place. But that's around the same time when COVID wave 2 started, the dangerous one, the one where we lost a lot of people. And again, I had to, again get secluded within that. But I believe then around 6 months or 8 months later, you came to my college for a hackathon we had by ESL. So I was taking part. Obviously, my project didn't work out. That's another PTSD kind of story. So, Ilyas was there, and obviously I knew Ilyas. I know Ilyas now from around 8 years. So I heard him talking about this initiative to students about fellowship and helping out people from the marginalized community and all those things. And I really thought, okay, that's a cool thing. I would like to be a part of it. And then you guys opened up the applications for code fellows, and then I basically applied, and my friend took my interview, and I'm here. So from there on, it's another journey, let's just say.
Awesome. Awesome. However, it's very funny that I don't remember interacting with you. I don't remember seeing you at the hackathon at MJ, because I very clearly remember, I think very vividly remember, many faces from that hackathon. We were sponsoring that hackathon.
Yep.
And I remember we were wanting to pick up a lot of people, and especially offering them the fellowship and so many other things. But
you didn't come to our table.
Oh.
We were at a very edge kind of a location, and you came to the table beside us. I think somebody from one of the campus leads was there. Like, I think they had I think from Lords, and they had like a gyroscope idea or something. I don't exactly recall, but you came over there, but you didn't come to our table.
Ouch. Okay. Cool. No, I'll tell you how I found out about you. Okay. Sure. And this is exactly how the podcast is going to be. It's absolutely conversational. Cool. So the first time I bumped into you, I think Adnan spoke to me about you, and I think what he mentioned was Adnan and Ilyas, both of them mentioned about you, and Ilyas mentioned that you were a gamer and he used to play with you.
Yeah, Dota.
Blah blah blah, and I was like, wow, because I know what gamers bring on the table, the kind of mindset they have, and I have a thing for people who are different from me, right? I have huge respect for people who are different from me, right? So when Adnan introduced me about you, I remember he did not mention many nice things, and that does not mean he was bitching about you or something like that.
Absolutely not.
He was mentioning that you are extremely, very critical of everything that you touch.
I still am. Sometimes.
You are extremely, cynical about literally everything, right? You're hyper critical of every single thing that you touch.
Yes.
You have to know all the sides, see all the sides, know everything before you touch anything.
I used to be like that.
So that is what he told me, and I said, yeah, fine, that's okay. And I don't think I pursued that conversation, but I guess Adnan was wanting to introduce me to you, and that is how it had started. And then fast forward, I think the first time I came to know about you was directly from you, and which is when we were
Web3 session.
Not the Web3 session. Sayyid and you were there, but I'm not talking about that session. I was introduced to you, but then I technically still did not know who Ateeq was.
Okay.
Right. And it's very important for me to know about everybody in depth and in detail. People I work with, at least. So the first time I came to know about you was directly from you, when you were dropping me from you were helping me pick up something from Doli Joki.
Was that really the first time?
That was the first time. Oh, shit. Do you remember that conversation?
I do, as a matter of fact. Would you like to talk about it?
Yes. What about that conversation? What do you remember?
I used to be a Meraj hater basically. Like not
You used to
technically
be?
a Meraj hater. Not
Okay.
technically a hater per se, but obviously as Adnan mentioned, I used to be very critical and I
Welcome
used
to the club.
so I used to be very critical of what you were doing, right?
Uh-huh.
And I had this belief at that point that starting up, especially for a student, is pointless because you don't have the. And I had that initial mindset that you need to get a VC,
Mhm.
you need to invest them to invest in you, and then you build something. And I had this idea that okay, if you don't really have the skills
Hmm.
and you don't really have connections or network or like backing from your relatives, monetary backing, obviously, your network backing, and
Hmm.
all those things, then it's pointless for you to start up because you're destined to fail is what I believe.
Hmm.
And obviously, this mindset has changed over a period of time, especially for I think it was A22 demo. Yeah, A22 demo.
Mhm.
The day A22 demo day, I'm not sure if you recall this, but I was there. I was a CL at that point.
Okay.
And something you mentioned really changed it with that. Should I say that?
Yeah.
So I don't remember the exact words, but it was around something like we start up and we fail, so that the next time we do it, we know the right thing to do, the things we're supposed to be doing, and it hit me that okay, you're not always supposed to be succeeding in life. You're supposed to fail and then get back up, even with regards to startups. And that really changed my mindset with regards to what everybody was at EVP was doing, because I joined EVP later. I first joined Code for India. So, it was a really transitional mind transition for me entirely to experience that. So, yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely. And to be very honest, it's not my idea of failing fast. This is also
Okay.
something that I have acquired from looking at all the successful entrepreneurs that the whole world looks up to.
Mhm.
The likes of Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg,
All that.
hearing them talk all the time, right? And especially this line from Pirates of Silicon Valley that Bill Gates said.
I was watching yesterday.
Bill Gates, says this to Paul Allen and
Mhm.
says very beautifully, which is technically imprinted in my mind, and I cannot just look beyond that line.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes like this: success is a lousy teacher.
Hmm.
It fools you into believing that you can't go wrong, right? And I applied that thing to me. I
Mhm.
applied that line to me, and I could see so many instances where I acted like a fool, where I think I believed that I knew it all, right?
Mhm.
This was the case when I exited my first company, right?
Mm-hmm.
That used to be an FX algorithm,
Money machine.
not money machine. Money machine
Okay.
was my first thing, the second thing,
Okay.
second startup. So before that, I used to have this, FX trading algorithm that automatically executed trades,
Mm-hmm.
which I sold to an Australia-based trading group. And that was the time when somebody wanted to buy something from you. You automatically start
Such
feeling very nice about you that you
You
did something
accomplished
right. Exactly. Right. And I think I was 23 back then, or 22, 23, 24, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it gives you the wrong kind of kick at that point in time, right? And the kind of money that I got back then, it meant the world to me, and I thought I am the smartest guy in the world, right? Which was extremely stupid of me.
Yeah.
So, and that was the time when I had not watched this movie. I wish I watched that movie before, right? But to be very honest, I don't think I could have still picked up those lessons, right? And this is where teachers come into picture. This is where coaches come into picture. This is where mentors come into picture, right? As much as I would like to avoid using the word mentors, because being a mentor is an extremely um, precious thing, okay, and it's a very I hold it in very high regard, right? But LinkedIn and people on LinkedIn have screwed it up, right? Everybody is now a mentor, and everybody is wanting to mentor, and that's not how it works. So and that's the only reason, right? People have misquoted me a lot of times saying Miraj hates mentors. No, Miraj doesn't hate mentors, right? Mentoring is probably the most important thing that anybody can be doing in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something that you choose. You don't get to be a mentor, right? A
Just
mentee
happens.
makes you a mentor, right? You have to find that student, right? And you have to qualify yourself for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you getting an MBA degree or you doing something in your field for 20 years working for someone does not qualify, right? And this is very important. And I say this all the time to all my incubators. it'd be very conscious about who you take feedback from, who you take advice from, right? People have to qualify to give you an advice. In fact, there's a joke, right? I used to have long hairs last year.
You were a bit intimidating at that time.
Uh-huh. Looking back at those photos, I hate that look of mine, and I have no clue what had gotten into me and how did I do that. But let's not go there. PTSD.
Welcome to the club.
So one of my relatives used to tell me, this look doesn't suit you. You have to get back to your normal self. And the problem was that gentleman does not have hair. He's bald. So I used to tell him, people with no hair cannot advise people with hair.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to, if you want to qualify to give me feedback, grow some hair. Right? So that is how I looked at it. But then turns out it doesn't apply everywhere. Turns out he used to have hair, and that's exactly how it works, and that's totally fine. Coming back to the topic, I love that line, right? And that's exactly where I picked it up, and that it's never, went back on that since then. Now coming back to moving on to another question.
Sure.
How has your life changed after bumping into this community or this group of people that you have bumped into? And I want you to talk about it with respect to people you bumped into in your college, people you bumped into here.
Okay. So at my college, I was not really into much stuff like technically club wise. We have college clubs at college, and this is this one club I was part of, and it was a very general thing. And I used to go to college just for the lessons and come back home, play games, and just spend my days. Maybe spend a little bit of time preparing for the future, DSA, one problem a day, or just watching YouTube video to learn something. But things changed drastically since I joined over here. I started attending the Web3 sessions first of all, and I really found them informative, and like it was a part of the world which I haven't really seen happening, and to be a part of it. Like as we say, if you want to get into Web3, join the Web3 session, and you're part of it. And things became slightly moving, and then we had the hackathon, right? And that's when I actually met a lot of people, both from Adventure Park and from Code for India as well. Especially from Adventure Park, I met Khalil, I met Osaid, I met Farq, I met Maz, I met like Sania, I used to know Siddiqa a little bit because I met her once before, but not that much. But yeah, so and all these guys I used to really I still look up to them, a lot of them, and for the kind of work and the skill sets that each of them present to the team, and the kind of work that they do, and comparing it to the people in my colleges. I didn't really find that many people. I used to find a few people, but not anybody who was that dedicated to the cause of, that my startup is this. Like I have to do this for the company, for the team, for the community, and doing it selflessly. Like there is no, there's no monetary benefit for them or whatever sort. And that's what people in colleges look for: monetary benefits most of the time. And seeing people doing it so selflessly and executing it, and just for the sake of it and for the happiness that they get. Like it was a life-changing experience with regards to meeting a fellow community of intellectuals as well, I would say.
Do you think it's worth it? It's worth the time?
Yes.
It's worth the pain that Meraj gives everybody all the time?
As somebody who has done it and experienced it with regards to doing it, yes. The
quantify it. I mean, this is not a
let's say this. Okay, sure. Let's talk about the good mind assessment, right? And that was my first. We were also doing I was learning at that point, right? Do you remember how I actually met you on that day?
No.
Okay, so I think I
think you were just sitting there. No, you were in the office, but I thought of you and
no. So a few days before that, you basically put out an Instagram post saying you're looking for developers, and I was too confident in myself at that point, and I thought, okay, I'm a developer. I know HTML, I know CSS, I know JavaScript. And I was taking a bootcamp for code influencers at that point of time, and I was like literally learning JavaScript from him. And I think JavaScript was coming to a close, and we were doing good. So I thought, okay, I know the stuff, I can do it. And I thought, okay, I'll apply. And I sent you a mail without a subject, by the way. I'm not sure if you still remember that.
I remember that.
I sent a mail without a subject in the body, and I just
I
sent
don't
that.
forgive people who send me emails without a subject.
Yeah, so I did that, and I didn't get a reply back. Obviously, I think I did. I think you told. I don't recall exactly.
I did not reply.
You didn't reply. Okay, perfect. So then there was some event. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but like I think CFI starting day or something. Not exactly. It was around June.
Yeah.
I think it was start of CFI cohorts.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was June.
that day itself. And on that day, I basically bumped into you in the garage. You just came in and we came into the elevator together. And I asked you, I mailed you. Basically just accidental collisions, but accidents don't happen. So basically, I asked you this particular thing, and you said, okay, sure, we'll talk about it. And then the event happened. Then people went, and I was just sitting with a few code influencers and networking with them. And then Andan says, okay, Ateeq, Meraj is calling you, and I just go into the room, and that's how that started. So coming to the project, Goodman needed an assessment, an automation of whatever process that they were doing, and they were looking for help with regards to getting that done. And I just one day before that day had started just through a Udemy course, by the way, how to actually set up an Express server, how to do app.list, and just get started with that. And I was like, yes, I really enjoyed that, by the way, at that point. And I really was like, okay, this is very cool. And the next day I was very hyped up, and then I'm here listening to you. You're telling something about schema, and then you're telling about something about model, and all this stuff is just going over my head, and I'm just wondering, okay, am I in trouble? So you guys gave me the upright and all those things, and I'm like, okay, I can try this. And you told me to get it done in 7 days. I asked for 10 days because I had exams, obviously, internals at that point, and I said, okay, you said cool. I went home. The next 5 days, I came here to the office like multiple times to just talk with Sanya, demo the front end views that I did. Then I slowly did the back end, then the automation, and obviously Adnan was just guiding me. Okay, you want to send mails, use NodeMailer, and you want this, just do that. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll check it out. He told me about the schemas thing and all those things, and I checked it out, and it accumulated, and I spent around 80 hours in 5 days. When I was closing my eyes, I was just thinking about code. I could see those lines coming in my eyes again and again and again and again. I was like, huh. And actually, this happened to me multiple times, like 3 or 4 times by this point of time. Like before once that, and at that point as well. So it's like, and it was a very exhilarating thing, building something and doing something that I didn't really thought I could be doing. And around 5 days I was done, but I didn't get to meet you for the next 10 days. Obviously, the deadline was for 10 days, and we got to meet, and then you scrapped the V1. We had UI changes for the whole thing, and obviously we added new components, and then we launched on FF, and it was really nice, to see your product being displayed on the screen over there, and now I think 1,000 users plus at this point.
Easily.
I didn't check it.
You're long past 1,000, I guess.
So it was like it was a unique experience, first unique experience of a kind for me, to see something which I made being used. So yeah, that's something which I would say.
Now, this is exactly what also proves my point. I see a lot of things that convert into codes.
Okay.
And this is what I meant when I said, if we were to be only, doing things that we qualify for, we would be mopping the floors, right? So you wouldn't have qualified to build this application or be a part of this journey. Right?
Definitely
If you had self-evaluated yourself to be, hey, can I set up an Express server? No, I cannot. Hence, disqualified. Right? We would never move on in our lives. And this is exactly what I wanted to set up this place for, right? Where people would come in and believe in themselves to begin with, and then I would believe in you more than you can ever believe in you. Is what I always wanted, this place to be all about. And no matter who you are, maybe, you come from whatever background and you do not know how to speak in English. And you don't have to know how to speak in English, right? And come and, you could just sit and stare at people, looking at what are they doing, right? And maybe not the first day, not the second day, not the 10th day, not the 100th day, but one day you will get started with something. And this is exactly what this place was set up for, right? And this was the vision behind it. In fact, when I first bumped into the chairman of MS at telling him,
Ateeq sir.
hey, let's set up an incubation center, and he said, how are we going to run it? I had no clue how I was going to run it, because if you were to evaluate me on the basis of my
were not
abilities to run an incubation center, you would have royally rejected me.
Yep.
You would have kicked me out, because I had not done an incubation center before this. But I did do a lot of startups. I failed a lot of startups, and I wear those failures as badges of honor on my chest all the time, and I would do that, right? Because those are the projects that taught me a zillion things that you're not supposed to be doing, right? And this is exactly where I am able to sit down with the 500, 600 plus founders that we have incubated so far, telling them what should their steps 1 2 3 be, right? Now, what do you think, let's say if Ateeq were to be chosen as the CEO of Adventure Park, right? And I believe if you continue to stick with us, the chances of you becoming a CEO of Adventure Park and anybody in the campus leads, the chances are open for all, and anybody can be that, provided they do the right things. Now,
Definitely.
how would you do Adventure Park?
That's a tricky question for
From
me.
your POV, right? And there are no right or wrong answers.
Like from the starting or from where we are right now?
From where we are right now, so you can't go back.
You can't go back.
There's no point in being hypothetical.
This is a very difficult question. There are a lot of I actually don't know the answer to this, because for me it's like this: everything is probabilities, and to see that far into the future, I don't have the data points to cumulatively assess them. But a lot of ventures that you're doing, I think, are really successful and making an impact, bringing a change, like the campus leads and obviously the pre-incubation program. I would focus more on the incubation side as well. Getting startups, like making sure that those students who are done with their pre-incubation program and finally focusing on getting revenue and generating more leads, and because recently we did this, right? And you didn't mention, we did iftarparty.com.
Yeah.
And we did some good amount of sales in 1 month, and you mentioned that just imagine that if we can do it for this in 1 month, then how much can we do for our startups? And that really hit me, because I just realized we don't do enough, and
Exactly.
we could be doing a lot more basically, and that's what I would still like to.
Why do you think we are not doing enough? Why do you think, even after me opening the doors for everybody all the time and giving them all the possible resources in the world? I mean, I don't even charge people for the 3D printers, right? I pay for the filament, I pay for the electricity, I pay for the ACs, I pay for every single thing that you get to use in other offices. What do you think is holding them back? What do you think I'm missing? What do you think I'm not doing?
I don't think it's just from your end. I think it's a more of a psychological human concept that when, like, let's say we do the pre-incubation program, right? People graduate and they take it as a sense of accomplishment and they get complacent. I have seen that, especially from
even after me telling them very explicitly,
Exactly.
this means nothing, this demo day means nothing, these people
Exactly.
sitting in here clapping for you means nothing.
Yep.
Right? You getting that best CEO award means nothing.
It doesn't-
Stop celebrating. It's fine. This is done.
It goes back to your like success is a lousy teacher kind of example, and I think that we need to be more open about the thought that they are not, that they haven't even gotten started yet from what they could be doing, and
Should we stop doing demo days?
we can do that. We can do internal demo days, obviously, but okay, never mind. Let's just stop that line of thought from my end. Okay.
No, this is exactly what you're here for, right? You got to give me some wild ideas. We have to land onto something.
What's the purpose of demo days technically?
Demo day is to demonstrate your work of past 4 months and share your plans, what you're going to do in the future, which should add some social responsibility on you, that hey, there are
You said
these
this.
150 200 people in this room now expecting me to launch.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I wanted to, that's what I wanted demo days to be, right? Social pressure.
I think they serve less than an act as a social pressure, but more as an act of accomplishment for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Especially even launching your own startup. People launch and then they just fizzle out. Okay, you generated this much traffic at your launch, and you had so many people buzzing, talking about your startup, and then are you just gonna let it go? And I think this also turns into I think this is a problem with regards to the model as well a little bit. Students, exams,
Exactly.
parents, and all the things that come around with those guys.
So many villains in our story.
Exactly. So many things holding you back. Maybe so much baggage.
I'll tell you. I'll share an incident with you.
Sure.
Okay. Not an incident. I think there are multiple incidents like this. A lot of these folks, they come back to me and they say, hey, we made a sale and we got paid so much. This is our first. I don't know if I'm not sure if you have observed and if you've noticed this in me. I never get extremely excited. I'm not, nothing can push me and say, wow, you did great job. Oh my goodness, I'm proud of you. This
Have
and
a
that.
chocolate.
Yeah, so I never do that, right? And a lot of times, these people come and tell me later on, they text me and they say, okay, I thought you would be happy. I thought, you would pat my back. I thought, you would be elated. You will be overjoyed. You would celebrate. You would do this and that. And they get disappointed when I go yeah, good job. Keep doing.
Yeah.
What do you think is the problem? Is it me or is it them or what is it?
I think it's just the mindset of somebody who hasn't experienced, real success. Maybe. They consider those small acts of, doing very small and accomplishing very small. It might not be small to them now, but considering the overview grandiose aspect of things, it is very small. It is insignificant.
Milestones are important, right?
Okay.
And I'm all in for appreciating milestones, but never celebrating milestones, because that's not the destination, right?
Definitely.
If you want to stop at every freaking milestone and start celebrating, then
You'll never reach there.
You will never reach there, or you will reach there. You will finish the race after long after the race was finished, right? There's no point. Exactly. So that's the thing. However, another aspect of it, and you brought up campus leads, right? These are the people, right? Adventure Park is set up on the basis of campus leads, right?
Yep.
This is the first thing that I set up after setting up the board of directors at Adventure Park.
Okay.
Right, and then we got our first set of 10 campus leads in 2020. Random people, that who just attended the first event that I organized at Adventure Park.
Okay.
Pick these people up and continue to work and build whatever we built in the past 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I can tell you with absolute authority and guarantee, okay, I am probably the most hopeful guy in their lives. Okay? I believe in them more than their parents believe in them. I believe in them more than their teachers believe in them. I believe in them more than their colleges believe in them. I believe in them more than their spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever it is, right? Believe in them, right? I am here to literally fill all the gaps for them. Yet these people do not bring their A game on the table. Why?
So this is a question about campus leads, not about
campus leads, to be specific, but people in general, right? And maybe you can apply this on relationships. You can apply this in a professional environment. You can say this is the same case with people struggling with different aspects in their lives.
I think there are a lot of factors that are involved, not just one. I think people are just weak in general as well, you would say. So they think about, okay, I'll do this, and they pick it up, and after a certain point of time they're like, okay, this is something. Okay, I may be wrong, totally wrong over here. I'm
Mhm.
speaking, blabbering about something.
Feel free to be wrong.
Sure. So I have thought about this as well before and never really come to a proper conclusion with regards to why this happens. I think the always answer, small, shortest summary that I can come up with is complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Complacency and give up attitude. Like
Mhm.
okay, I'll try it once. If it doesn't work out, even if I did like 1% of effort and it didn't work out, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing it. Right? Maybe I can't do it, or okay, I failed already. What's the point? And a lot of such sort of things is what I feel is attributed to that. Um, Campus leads in general, I think there are a lot of campus leads with great potential.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
were a campus lead one.
I was a campus lead once. We'll talk about that again. So yeah, so I am still a campus lead. What once? I'm still a campus lead. So I think there are a lot of campus leads with great potential, and I know those guys, and I have talked to them, and I see that they do have potential, but some campus leads, what they do, they put their efforts into the wrong things, like where the utilization is not to the best of their like what it can fully truly be, and I don't blame them because they don't really know, like you don't really know what's good for you until unless you try out everything, and that aspect of not trying out everything, and being afraid of even becoming campus lead. I know a lot of people who are even scared of becoming a campus lead. They're like, okay, bhai, mere se nahi hoga. What, maybe I can't do it. Like, what are you thinking it will be like? And I think people are just unsure and undecisive with regards to what they want to do. Maybe around those things.
How can we change that? Can we change that?
Hmm.
Can we change this attitude?
Speaking in a very grand scheme of things, no, because see, you change some sort of people, and then you get the same another sort of set of people, who will be exhibiting that kind of sort of things, and I think it's a very human nature kind of scenario. Like, people are expected to have those thoughts, those feelings, and those things. I think we can change it, but obviously in batch wise, like not everybody. Like you can't say, okay, you were just born, you'll be having full confidence your entire life, and you'll be walking out of that baby crib with 100% confidence, and you'll just do whatever you're supposed to be doing within the next whatever. Like you'll be perfect. Is like it's not a scenario that will ever work out, and obviously we can change that, but it requires very much micro observation as well, you could say. Like of every single person who is working, and somebody to understand.
And do you think that's my job? Do you think I should do that?
You kind of do it, but not in micro sense. Like whatever you do at Adventure Park, like whenever you like let's say you share your experience, right? You don't know who it might affect, or who it might bring a change into, and which kind of a leader it will transform somebody into, right? So it's not always that it's your job. Maybe in a social sense, maybe that's I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Actually, I have one question for you. So, actually, I have a lot of questions. As a matter of fact, I wrote a lot of questions. But my first question: where are you with your book?
Can I skip?
Sure. No.
Okay. See, writing a book, I thought is a very easy thing to do. I used to, write a little bit. I read a lot. I write a bit. This is the title of my Quora profile.
Okay.
But so the problem with my book is it is 80% complete.
Okay.
And I think I've gotten into that stupid loop of trying to chase perfection. Right. Every single time I read my book, I see something wrong. I see something not making sense. I see things got updated, right? And product market fuck is I have to use the word.
I don't mind.
I cannot.
I don't
skip the word, and because in this case, the term means something else altogether.
Okay.
Right? So product market fuck is not a normal book. It's an abnormal book.
Okay.
It's an outlier, right? And this is a book where I am extremely critical of so many startups, their business models, and how they have spoiled the whole ecosystem for good or for bad, actually, right?
Okay.
So now the thing is, there are a lot of them who have changed their course of action, and they have gotten better. Now I have to update my book.
Okay, you can't be critical of them anymore.
Exactly, right? And I have to be very honest, right? I have to do justice, and that's the thing. I've got into that stupid loop of continuing to update my book. Now there was a point in time when I thought if my book should just be a blog, which I continue to update and people will get to read it, right? But then I think I am being very
Idealistic.
or I'm being very nervous about the whole thing of what people might think, which is going against my own rule, which I ask people not to care about, my incubator especially. So maybe I'll find some time and finish it.
Sure.
The target is to get it out this year.
Sure. Is this podcast like another step closer to it?
Maybe.
Perfect. Okay. So this question is like to you back in 2019. Okay. So around that time, you had sold the hacking school to iCollege Australia. You didn't plan to start Adventure Park. I think you did. You planned, or there was no Adventure Park. Let's just say, okay. And you were well off financially in terms of financial aspects, and like to have a good quality of life. Let's just say. And you were in the US, and you were exploring Stanford and all those things at Y Combinator, and you technically didn't have a reason to come back to India. Like you could have settled over there and live a life, a good life. What motivated you to come back?
And I hope my mom listens to this.
Surely. Hi.
So, see, I don't know how to put it in a nice way, so I'll be as honest and natural as I can, and please excuse my language. Sure. This is a disclaimer. And at the risk of sounding boastful, I think every single time, everything that I did that I did in my life, right, from my very first project, the trading algorithm that I built, to Adventure Park or Code for India, every single time I was absolutely fortunate and blessed to be doing things or to be finding things to do that nobody else spotted.
Okay.
Right? And in fact, this was also the base to my another tweets where I said, your biggest opportunity lies in the ignorance of others. Okay? What people are ignoring is probably an opportunity which you can leverage and make it big, which is what I did with my first, my second, my third, my fourth, my fifth, all of them. Right? I started India's first coding bootcamp. I started India's first student-focused idea state startup incubator. I started India's first government accredited coding bootcamp, and so on and on and on and on. When I went to the US, right, I found the market to be absolutely saturated.
With regards to everything.
Everything, okay. Right? It's a huge market. Of course, the purchasing power parity makes it absolutely, juicy. However, the opportunity to do, bigger things there was slightly lesser, and I can be completely wrong. Okay. India is, probably very, very behind, right?
It is.
And that is a strength. This is an opportunity, and I wanted to travel that journey with India because nothing can stop India from reaching there, right?
Definitely.
And US is already there. America is already there. There is no point in me sitting, where America is, right? My chances of making it big in my life are better with India. And this is exactly what I tell all the engineering students right now. This is what I tell all the campus leads, who work with me right now. Because the chances of India being there are the highest. India is the country with the highest opportunities in the world right now. Okay? It's India's time. The time has come.
It is now.
And it's now. And nobody can stop that from happening. Right? And I figured it out. and once you see it, right, you would be a fool to choose something else over this.
Sure.
You getting my point?
Yes.
This is exactly what happened to Saudi Arabia in 1970, right? When they discovered oil, and you moved to Saudi Arabia and continued working with Saudi Arabia from where Saudi Arabia was until now, you would have progressed with Saudi Arabia,
exponentially,
becoming a powerful economy, right? And that is exactly indicative of your economy as well, right? At unit level, right? And this is what I'm talking about in India. India's per capita is bound to grow. Nobody can stop that from happening, right? Now, if you move India se wahan, I think you're selling short, and not a good idea.
So, okay. So you often say that you're an introvert, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of things changed for you after iftarparty.com.
Yes.
Was there any particular opportunity which you would like to mention that you missed due to this behavior?
Many.
The biggest one. Let's talk about the biggest one, if you can, obviously.
There are many opportunities, right? I mean, see, and that's my nature, right? Like I'm cribbing about, campus leads not doing this, not doing that, not leveraging these opportunities,
And you did, yes.
this and that. I think somewhere or the other, I am guilty of doing the same things, right? And I guess that's part of our nature. That's part of our personalities.
Exactly.
And while I understand and respect that, I am angry. Okay. I work with the government, right? And there were so many times where I had the chance to go and to get some very solid things done by just initiating a conversation. I did not do that because I did not know how to initiate a conversation.
You felt shy and you just didn't approach.
Yeah, right. I get into this loop of, should I do it? What will he think? This and that and blah blah blah. Funny part, people do not think I'm an introvert.
Okay, but yeah, I didn't think. Turns out it is the case. So, you were an innovation fellow for Government of Telangana?
Yes.
And was there any particular experience you'd like to share? That really changed you or something?
To be very honest, it was an absolutely beautiful experience of my life. It was technically the second U-turn of my life after iftarparty.com.
Okay.
Right, and this happened in quick succession. First Iftar Party, and then the TSIC fellowship. This is where I fell in love with the whole incubation center model. Right, I worked with Fanim Usama, and people would kill to work with him, which is what I got to do, and that was one of the most important reasons why I chose to do that fellowship. Another funny story is I got my TSIC appointment letter and US visa on the same day.
Okay.
So I had to choose between one of these, and I chose TSIC, and I'm proud of it. Right, I think I did the right thing. Okay. My mom thinks otherwise. Now it changed me for good, right? The way I looked at government, the way I looked at everything that happened inside the government was very wrong, and I'm very sure there are a lot of people who think the same way. What you see from outside is not what it looks from within, right? I was very fortunate to be part of many super important, super sensitive, super critical meetings where I actually got to see some really important people working really hard for everybody, which is not what we think the government does, which is wrong. Okay, if you look at the way how at least the current ministers work, and especially KTR, I was in awe of his forward thinking, his ability to take risks, his ability to bet on people, and his openness to try and experiment with ideas. I mean, TSIC was an experiment, right? And they had absolutely no reason to try this. We were India's first state to try this, and I very clearly remember different state governments started sending their groups to Telangana to study TSIC model and to take it there, right? We had hosted people from Maharashtra, from Goa, from different Chhattisgarh, I think, if I am remembering it correctly. There were many people who came in, who studied the model, and we were absolutely happy to share everything that we were doing. So yeah,
It was a great experience.
It was a great experience.
Another great experience, and the thing that changed your life, the hacking school, right?
Yeah, 100%. And again, the hacking school was an accident. It wasn't something that
But there are no accidents.
and there are no accidents, right?
So
Yeah, please.
you go ahead.
It happened just like that, right? And special shout out to Sean.
Hmm.
Sean is the founder and CEO of Hack Reactor. Hack Reactor is one of the first coding bootcamps in the US.
Okay.
So when I figured out there are no coding bootcamps in India, I figured out what are the other coding bootcamps in the world. Looked at Silicon Valley, bumped into Hack Reactor, and I sent out a cold email to Sean asking help, right? Asking him how coding bootcamps work and this and that, and I wanted to talk to him to understand the model. And he was kind enough. He was, very kind to share his experiences with me, how coding bootcamps look like, and this and that. And then that marked the beginning of coding bootcamps in India.
Definitely. The next thing, Adventure Park, and specifically in Adventure Park, you have a team called as the executive team, or X team. So this has always been a question, and I still question this.
Are you going to ask me how do people get into X?
Yeah, I'm asking you, what's your black box strategy? Black box strategy for getting X team.
Do you know why we call the black box a black box?
Because you're not supposed to open it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's skip that.
But it's very simple.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Everybody has a love language. Okay, my love language is asking. What that means is I cannot ask favors to people, right? No matter how badly I need it, no matter how desperate I am. But there are a group of people that I'm comfortable asking things, right?
Okay.
And that's extreme to me.
Okay.
But like people get into the extreme, we do have an exit door as well, right? Where
Absolutely.
I'm not comfortable asking them anymore, right? And that is how it is.
Nothing is permanent.
So you can tell that extreme is that group of people who I trust and who I'm comfortable asking, stuff. And these are the people who I think I want to develop them as the second layer of leadership at Adventure Park, who will continue to run Adventure Park the way I do, and maybe better than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something that I've always thought about actually with regards to you. So you believe in information is controlled, right? And you do collect, like, whatever decisions you make comes from a lot of information from a lot of sources, and you look at everything piece by piece and then decide. And I do also have a similar mindset. So would you like to share anything about that? I really want to hear about it.
Absolutely. I'm very observing.
Okay.
And I think that is a superpower.
Definitely.
Your ability to read between the lines, your ability to hear things that people don't say, your ability to read faces, your ability to take a deep dive into the hearts and understand what's going on in your mind is basically a superpower that will help you make decisions, that will help you do things for people that can change the course of direction for them and you for good. Right? And these are things that you're never going to see, never going to know, never going to read, because not every single time people are going to be open, right?
Okay.
So you have to learn the art of implicit reading, and this is something that I consciously practice all the time, and it's very important for me to do that, and then I connect the dots and then come to a conclusion.
Okay. So it's a very fascinating thing, by the way.
It is.
Information collection and then connecting the dots part, especially.
I think it's a very important leadership quality.
Yeah. I really enjoy the way you do it specifically.
Thank you.
Right. So I don't know. Let's see. So this is a question that I have thought about.
We'll take one last one, and
I
guess it's about an hour.
Sure. And then 1 second. Okay, let's take this one last.
Yeah.
So, how do you know or decide that it's time for you to move on from a certain initiative or venture, or and it's not like moving on, but just handing it over to the next person to take, like you did for the hacking school. You gave it to Sadia to be take over the position as CEO, and you gave her the ability to take it forward while watching over the stuff. So how do you decide that it's time?
I don't think I got the question.
So it's like, let's say it's related to real life experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have started SU,
Yeah.
Sultanul Knowledge of
Yeah.
Sultanul College,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this. You have mentioned this to the extreme, obviously, before, but we are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to be handling the pre-incubation, incubation, and venture park as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
with your oversight, obviously.
Hmm.
So, like, how did you come to a conclusion? Okay, that it's time for me to do this.
I see. You can never start a project with an exit strategy in mind. Okay. And there are so many things that I learned from. So there is this guy Ashish, right?
Ashish Katta.
Ashish Katta. Ashish was the founder of Cero, that reverse acquired iCollege, and then Ashish was the guy who transformed iCollege and made iCollege whatever it became, right?
Okay.
So I'm heavily inspired by Ashish,
Okay.
and this is something that I learned, that I saw him doing. It's not something that taught me explicitly. It's not a teacher-student kind of relationship. We work together, and we kind of bring in the same kind of mindset, and we gelled together like real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I'm starting a project, right, I'm very conscious, and I understand there will be a day where I will have to move on and find something else that I need to do, right? And there is a very important line in this web series called The Pitchers, right?
Yeah.
एक entrepreneur की आत्मा बड़ी बेचैन होती है जब तक एक masterpiece ना बना ले, भटकते रहते हैं, right? So this is me, that's me, right? And more importantly, I'm not a guy who would want to do one, just one unicorn, $1 billion company, or one $10 billion company. I am a guy who wants to do many, $1 million companies, many $10 million and $100 million companies, right? I'm about trying to touch as many lives as possible in as many ways as I can, right? Rather than just working with one and making it really, really big, right? Considering the fact that we have enough people, enough resources, enough institutions trying to, work for the people who are already there, right? For example, IITs take care of people who are extremely hardworking and smart,
Definitely.
right? And I don't think I want to work with IITs or IITians,
Okay.
right? Because they don't need my help. I can't help them, right? And that's exactly why my very conscious and hardcore and 100% focus on tier 2 and tier 3 colleges, right? And I very strongly believe I can come up with many success stories from these second and third tier colleges and institutions, and inspire more second and third tier people to dream big, right? And that's me. And when I'm starting a project, I make sure that I have designed and set the course of that project in such a way where my second line of leadership should be able to take care.
Take it when you're not there.
Exactly, right? I'm very conscious about not creating dependencies on me, and I keep that from day zero. You can go and ask Ilyas, right? I made sure he was part of all our board meetings from day zero, right from when I knew he could understand nothing.
Okay.
Right? I know that,
Okay.
but this is not how the world works. This is not how the world works. Okay, and the best example that I can give you is if you're a blind man, right, and you need a stick for you to walk, what is the first thing that you will throw away when you start seeing?
That's right.
You getting my point? So the stick would never want you to see the world,
Interesting.
right? And that's a very sad thing to do. The stick would want you to continue to be blind.
Right.
This is our
To be
government,
using it.
this is our institutions, this is everything
Society. It's a society.
that our society is made from and made for. It's extremely salty, it's extremely bitter, but this is the truth, right? It is against the investments that each one of them make in people, right? If you outgrow me, you'll kill me, is how the society looks at it. And I am contrarian, right? I don't believe it that way, right? I believe if I can make 100 people better and stronger than what Meraj is right now, these people will make Meraj 100x stronger, right? These are the group of people that I can call my team, right? And these are the people who will help me win,
Definitely.
right? However, having said that, you will definitely have a few bad apples, and that can't break your heart, that can't change your plans, that can't say, okay, hey, you know what, this is not working, and I'll continue to keep you blind. So I'm not in that business. It's fine. People hurt, and I call myself a stepping stone, and
Yes.
I'm very cool with that.
And then you're glad to be one. So that's a very cool answer. Last question.
Yeah.
Sure. Your vision for 2030 for yourself. 2030 years. 7 years ago. Where do you see yourself, or if you want to talk about Adventure Park maybe, or something along those lines?
We have to make it really big. Okay. When I say big, I mean with the number of people that we can touch, right? We have to do that, and it's high time now. Okay. Whatever we have here is what I really think has to go to the larger masses, reach larger audiences, and they totally deserve it, right? India is an extremely important market to the world, but tier 2 and tier 3 is the most important part of India that not a lot of people are focusing on, and that's my focus. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm sure God is going to help me with that, and
Definitely.
God has His own plans. And if God thinks there's someone else who's better suited for that job, I'm more than happy to assist. That gentleman or gentlewoman, if that's a word. Oh no, gentleman and lady.
Ladies.
So
My bad.
to assist them, right? It's not about this is not my thing, right? The vision is bigger. The vision is to incubate India, and which is what India needs right now. And as we know, India lives in the tier 2.
Definitely. Right. I think that's it from my end.
That's about it. That was fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Same from my end.
And I hope people who are going to watch this will enjoy it as much as we did.
Definitely. I really got a lot of great insights.
Awesome. Likewise, thank you.
Did we decide on a name yet?
No. Do you have a suggestion?
No, I don't.
I want some, really. Maybe I'll ask the audience, what do you want to call this podcast? This was podcast number 1. I'll be bringing in more campus leads, picking up their minds on literally everything in and around their lives, Adventure Park, their work, their college, whatever it is. So suggest a name. If we pick your name, we'll give you a shout out and maybe a cool hamper.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.